The way this is set up out front is that we have a high area or a berm at the edge of the property close to the sidewalk. And in the center of the small front yard area here is a bit of a depression. And when we had some landscaping done a couple of years ago, we had a pit put into this area, and then a pipe was connected inside the pit up to this downspout which goes to our roof. So in the past, water collecting on the roof would go down through the gutters and then just be dumped onto the surface of the yard. Now that same water goes into a plastic pipe at the end of the downspout, and it flows into this pit. The pit is then filled with pea gravel at the base. I think it's like 1/4 inch rounded pea gravel. And then on top, for the pit and for the whole yard, is a layer of wood chips. We would find cardboard from cardboard recycling dumpsters, or we'd go to stores and ask them if we could have some of their cardboard, and they're usually quite happy to have us take it away. And then that gets spread out, and then a thick layer of wood chips from a tree cutting company gets put on. So that's also recycled. It's material that would just go to the dump, basically. And that combination keeps down the weeds and builds up the soil. If you go anywhere out here and you reach down and lift up, you'll find the cardboard if it hasn't already decomposed. And underneath is this beautiful soil. It's rich, it's earthy, there's worms in it. You know, it's pretty healthy. And the nice thing is that we don't have to do a whole lot of spraying. All the vegetation is around the rim, and we talked for a little bit about putting something or some things in that area, but we decided we were going to wait and see how it did, because we weren't sure if we put plants in that were not water tolerant and then we had pooled water, it would kill them. And if we put in other plants that needed water but that didn't stay wet, then they would die. So we figured, let's wait and see how this works. The previous owner in this house had done a lot of composting in different places around the yard. He used to make pits and put vegetation in and let it decompose. And he also added some sand to the soil, and he put drains in the yard. Gosh, probably 15 years ago. So there was a lot of work that went in, I think, to kind of getting things prepared in a way. So to some degree, I think we don't have a case where I could see how this would have done if he hadn't done that work. So I don't really know for certain. My guess is that this little basin benefited from that other work that was done first to build up the soil. I think some areas in this neighborhood might have very thin soil, and they might have a harder time making use of a small basin like this. We wanted, you know, vegetation we wouldn't have to water to any extensive amount. And we've had it for 2 years now, and so far, even during the biggest rainstorms, we've never seen standing water in this part of the yard. So it seems to be pretty effective in helping water to get spread out in this area and then to soak into the ground. The other thing that we put in the backyard is Golden helped us put in a native grass. We call it a native grass meadow. It's an area that's about this big. It's, you know, it's about 20 by 20 feet. Once we establish those native grasses, we never water it. And it kind of dies back in a way in the summertime and gets brown, and then it just comes up green again in the winter. And I usually take a weed whacker to it once a year, and then throw that on the compost pile. So that's kind of nice. It's minimal maintenance. We really like that.